Prescription Tillage Technologies, and my name is John Nance, and I'm the head of OEM sales and distributor sales. We started out building tillage blades in the beginning. From those ideas, we developed into planting blades. Our whole theory was to solve planter problems. In our own farms, we had trouble with the smearing and sliding, closing problems, heavy soils, wet soils. We were tired and sick of it, so Rich, the owner of the company, designed this blade that actually cuts material very aggressively, and it fractures and drives rotation for the blade, so it's turning the blade with the notch in a blade. Therefore, you're not sliding that blade and smearing on the sidewalls, because the real blade lies on that contact patch here, which then puts a area. Dirt sticks to it, it rides up when you get heavy soils, plugs up your systems. Those type things are really a problem. And then you have trouble closing the trench behind it because you smeared that off and made it polished. It's very difficult then to wedge it back in after you packed it out and made a structured unit out of it. So this actually fractures the sidewall. As the blade pulls forward like this, each one of these teeth lifts the soil and fractures the side, and after I've lifted the soil, I can shove it in a lot easier. So that makes your closing devices a lot easier. We use, in order to keep our trench the way it's supposed to be and not narrowing up when you get into no-tills, that's one of the challenges everybody's fighting. We use a 4mm blade and a very heavy-duty hub and a double roller bearing that's made by it, especially for us, that keeps the rigidity of the blades so you can keep your structure. Your closing fingers, where it's a Keaton or Schoffer's closing finger, works much better because I've kept the trench open to where it's supposed to be. You can get the seed to the bottom. We also keep a U-shaped furrow just at the very bottom of the trench so I can get the seed cleared to the bottom of the trench even without a finger. Okay, and then the finger is just an added bonus to put a little dirt on top of it and tack it down. We have all types of fertilizer discs to go for 2x2 fertilizer. You've seen before. And then one of our latest developments is the International Case IH closing disc. It's a cone-shaped blade, small teeth on it. They're actually designed to fracture stuff on the backside, okay, just like this blade is. And then it's got the cone shape. And what we do is we fracture soil on this side of the blade, on this one. We fracture with these teeth on the inside of that one, so I get that whole profile loose. I got very small teeth, so I can knit it together and make little clods instead of big clods, if you want to talk about that, versus some of the big spike wheels. And then the back side wedge, as I fracture that off, it caves it in, and then it shoves it down, and then shoves it in, all at the same time. But you have to fracture that soil before you can do it. If you don't fracture it with a regular disc closing wheel, it wants to right up out of the ground and roll up out of the ground because you got nothing to fracture the soil. So you need the fracturing capabilities to do that. That's why this system works excellent.